Hello, I'm Amara Jones, and welcome to Caffeine TV, your daily video news brief. Here to take you through 3 headline numbers in just 3 minutes, giving you a different take on everything from housing policy to the Real Housewives. The first number up today is 172, as in 172,000. That, according to The Guardian, is how much the Ferguson Police Department has spent on rearming itself since the events in August. And they spent that money on buying everything that every suburban police department needs, like tear gas and rubber bullets and chemical pellets, which explode upon impact, incapacitating the target. And it just goes to show that all of that talk about the demilitarization of the police that we've been having since August has fallen on deaf ears in Ferguson, that they still believe that they are a mostly white police department meant to police a mostly black population. And also sadly goes to show that if the grand jury there doesn't indict Officer Wilson for the death of Michael Brown over the next several months, that Ferguson is again headed for some very serious trouble. Now, the Ferguson Police Department says that they just bought this stuff, that they don't intend to use it, that is just in the closet. But I don't know anyone who buys anything that they don't actually intend to use. Well, let's just hope that cooler heads prevail there and that these weapons aren't actually locked and loaded. The next number up today is $4 billion. Now, according to the Center for Responsive Politics, as reported in today's Wall Street Journal, that's the amount that's being spent on this year's midterm election, making it the most expensive midterm election in the nation's history since, way back in 1790. Now, 1 out of every $4 that's being spent on this election, $1 billion is dark money that comes from secretive rich people and corporations that's meant to influence the election. But as all this money has poured in, voters have poured out. As a matter of fact, this election is on track to be the one with the lowest voter turnout in the nation's history, where only 1 out of 3 eligible voters actually end up showing up at the polls. And it just goes to show that money in politics is poison. And even though the Supreme Court says that in politics, money is free speech, the more money you have, the more free speech you have, we know that when you go to cast your vote, they only give you 1 ballot, no matter how rich you are. So next week, gather up your legally blonde 2 optimism and go cast your ballot. The next number up today is 3, as in 3 weeks. Now, that, according to the Washington Post, is the number of weeks that the Russian government has been engaged in a hacking attack on the White House. Yep, the Russian government is trying to steal the secrets of the Casa Blanca, and it's made computing their hell. Outages and slowdowns and just downright not working. And my question overall is, when do we get to admit that we're back in a Cold War with Russia? I mean, the Wall Street Journal yesterday reported that as well, that the Russian government hiring syndicate gangs is what's behind the hacking of banks and other government agencies. They shot down a airline full of innocent people. We have sanctions on them. They ban student exchanges. They regularly invade our airspace. We regularly chase them out with military aircraft. I mean, we just need to admit we're back in a Cold War with them, because until we just admit that, we can't figure out what to do. And it just goes to show you that that program on FX, The Americans, about Russian spies posing as Americans in Washington, D.C. during the 1980s is not retro, it's actually current.